What's up, everyone? It's the Interview Queen Alicia Toot here, and be sure to watch True Heel Heat.
What's up, guys? It's Wolverine, Death Machine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, and you're watching True Heel Heat. Who better? Nobody.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching True Heel Heat podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for NXT Halloween Havoc 2024 review. Breaking down last night's card from Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Bubba Ray Dudley closed the show. Let that marinate for a minute. Yes, I am here running solo dolo for you folks here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. Welcome. If this is your first time watching, appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible. Let's drop the thumbs up on this video. Let's share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here, and of course sound off in the live chat because I'm running solo on this review of NXT Halloween Havoc, so I need you guys to be my co-hosts and sound off in the live chat. Let us know what you thought about NXT Halloween Havoc. If you're watching us on demand, you can do that in the comments down below. Let it interact with you and hear your thoughts, your hot takes, your opinions on everything that went down from Hershey, Pennsylvania, the latest WWE NXT premium live event, and it was noteworthy. I'll give it that, sort of. But yeah, so we're going to talk all about the matches that went down, the backstage segments, and everything in between. Appreciate y'all. And if you're watching us live, of course, like I said, sound off in the live chat. I'll try to interact with all of you and hear your thoughts on last night's NXT Halloween Havoc. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your appreciation for what we do here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, you can hit the $, send a super chat donation. I'm going to need those super chats because I'm going to need stuff to talk about. I'll be honest. I think that this was the least interesting NXT Premium Live event of the year. I thought NXT Premium Live events were on a high. I thought Stand and Deliver was great. I thought Vengeance Day was really damn good. I thought Battleground was pretty good. I thought No Mercy was pretty good. Heatwave was the best NXT Premium Live event in recent years, let alone just this year alone. But Halloween Havoc, the card going in, I wasn't too invested into it except for one match on the card, and that one match did deliver. But I had mixed emotions going into the event. I think that's why I landed at about like a 7. That's my interest level. And I will just say, I don't know if I'm going to hit a 7 out of 10 for the show overall following the show. But that is my opinion. We want to hear yours. We got already in the chat with us today. Call me Mr. Bondo, one of our great members of the channel. You can become a member of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel by hitting the join button. $1 a month. Just $1 a month gets you exclusive in-chat perks as well as exclusive content as well. So thank you, Mr. Bondo, for being one of our members. And he says, lackluster pay-per-view, to say the least. I think that's an apt description to NXT Halloween Havoc. Lackluster. I don't think the card jumped off the page. The fact that you had NXT Heatwave, which I still stand. I think that is one of the best WWE shows of the year. I don't think it's going to be as memorable as WrestleMania 40 by the time we get to our end of year awards. I think WrestleMania 40 will definitely be in like the top 10 of our pay-per-views of the year, major shows of the year video that we usually do. I think show like Backlash France, because of the crowd, will be remembered fondly. SummerSlam was very eventful and newsworthy. That might be remembered as one of the better shows of the year. And I think Heatwave in WWE. Those are like the four shows, the Mount Rushmore of premium live events for WWE in 2024. This one was not that. We got Belle in the chat. Good to see you, Belle, saying good evening. Good evening to you as well, Belle. And remember, guys, drop the thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithms. We got Alex Powell, who is our resident sarcasm meter, because he always brings the sarcasm, and I always enjoy that. I'm a man that enjoys a good amount of sarcasm, and I can always count on Alex Powell to bring that in the chat. He says, Ridge versus Chase was fire, pal. Laughing face emoji, laughing face emoji. I mean, we didn't expect much from Ridge and Andre Chase, but it's just like, that was the reason I was bringing up NXT Heatwave before, because NXT Heatwave, I think the best match on the show was Fraxium versus Chase U. And I think that Fraxium versus Chase U was arguably the best match of No Mercy when they did with Ridge and Chase versus Fraxium. But back at Heatwave in the Fatal 4-Way main event, it was Javon Evans who stood out the most. Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom and Javon Evans were not on this card, and it struggled because of that. You should never have an NXT premium live event without the best tag team in WWE today, which is Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom. And Javon Evans is like your kind of your cornerstone to say, hey, this is developmental, and look at the talent that we have. We have this kid that's 20 years old, and he's better than I would say 75% of our roster in developmental. How do you have a premium live event without those three guys on the card? And I feel like this card very much struggled because of their absence. We got Myron Kidd in the chat. Thanks. Good. Haven't seen you in a while, Myron. Thanks for joining us today. He says, knew that this was going to be lackluster because of the lack of build and hype coming from the debut of the CW. Yeah, the debut on CW was the kind of the focal point coming out of No Mercy. And then they started the build for kind of Halloween Havoc at the tail end of the St. Louis show, which was the second week on the CW. So you were probably right to feel how you were going to feel. Mr. Bonda in the chat says, yeah, HBK should have added the NXT Tag Team Championships match instead of the ambulance match. I legit was dozing off during it. That is to be fair. Because I mean, you literally were hyping. They did like 2-3 segments hyping up the tag team title match. I was like, why couldn't this tag team title match be on this show? Like, really? Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. If the tag, and usually NXT, ridiculous, always gives us 6 matches on their premium live event. Shawn Michaels is not a 5-match merchant like his good friend Paul Levesque. He ain't like Paul Levesque. He ain't no 5-match merchant. And he gave us 5 matches, which I was only interested in one of them. Come on. What are we doing? We got Myron Kidd. He says Javon Evans and Nathan Frazier and Axiom not being on this card was disgusting. I share in your disgust of that. We got Alex Powell says, yes, Evans and Frazier get left off. We got I Make Beats. He says, yo, the women's tag match showed out. Yeah, I said that I wasn't gonna say it yet before we get into the card, but I like to highlight your comments here. And I Made Beats, one of our members of the channel. But yeah, you're 100% correct. That was the one match I was interested on this card, and I feel like that was the one match that even either met or exceeded my expectations. I think there was another good match on this card, but everything else was just like either fine or I didn't think that the ambulance match was even that entertaining. I felt like it went too long. I felt like the gauntlet match for the NXT Women's North American Championship probably went a smidge longer than it needed to as well. And then the main event was just fine. But the show took a legitimately dip. It took a jump off a cliff as far as in-ring quality following the women's tag team matchup. That's for sure. We got my good brother, the True Draw Josh, in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Just to troll me because I have to talk about a fucking 2024 premium live event from WWE that ended with Bubba Ray Dudley, Bully Ray closing the show after Bully Ray stunk up the joint. Make Believe Pro Wrestling. I didn't go in enough on the flagship podcast this week. I will say I was like, wrestling is so good in 2024. I can't even really decide. There's been matches that have disappointed me, like Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso at WrestleMania. AEW with Chris Jericho being on every fucking pay-per-view aside from one this year. He's had some bad matches on pay-per-views. The last No Mercy show, Kelani Jordan and Wendy Chu. These were all matches that went below our expectations. Our expectations just fine. And if it's just average or bad, that is bad. Legitimately, the worst match I saw this year just came last weekend with Bully Ray versus fucking Jinder Mahal. That shit was plotting. It was boring. It went at a 0.00005 speed. And then it ended with a fucking smudge of a finish where Raj Desi, yes, the former Jinder Mahal, puts Bully Ray through a table, and then QT Marshall comes out and beats him up and then puts him in the table scraps, and then Bully Ray wins the matchup. Legitimately, the worst match I saw this year, and they put him to close this show. The developmental brand. Yes, they're doing a show in ECW Arena. Yes, I believe they should have ECW legends. But why the fuck is it Bully Ray? And why the fuck is it closing your show? I needed to let that out. Josh trolling me triggered all of that. Around the Point Network in the chat, good to see you, saying I totally forgot the show was on at 7 p.m. Eastern. I mean, you didn't miss much, to be fair. You didn't miss much. We also got Will Chisholm in the chat. Good to see you, Will. He says, I think we need tomorrow have a grill talk about Trick Williams. I love Trick, but we need Ricky Starks to save us. I mean, yeah, if AEW is not going to use Ricky Starks could legitimately walk into NXT tomorrow and be the best guy on the roster. He could legitimately become the NXT champion, and nobody would even blink. No one would even blink. They would be like, yeah, that makes sense. He's a great talker. He's an awesome character. He's really good in the ring. He should be the NXT champion. I like Trick Williams. I think Trick Williams has an abundance of charisma, but you do kind of see the flaws in him being the NXT champion long term because of the fact that we are coming off of last year where we had Braun Breaker, who was on the rise as NXT champion. Then from Braun Breaker, we went to Carmelo Hayes, who is arguably among the top 10, top 15 workers in the damn company. And then you had from Carmelo Hayes to Ilya Dragunov, who's in like the top 5 workers in this company. Shout outs to Ilya. Hope he gets well soon. So the flaws of Trick Williams being your NXT champion following those 3 guys, it does stand out probably more than it should. He has abundance of charisma. He has that star power that eludes from him. He's got the it factor for sure. But when it comes to bell in-ring work, he is below the past three long-term major NXT champions that they had. It just is what it is. It is what it is. This coming from someone who is a huge fan of Trick Williams. We do have a super chat donation here from I May Beats. Thank you so much, I May Beats. I need the support, guys. I need the support because my sanity is being tested. And then he puts this comment with the super chat. He says, here to future NXT champion Bubba Ray Dudley. He ended a show in 2024. I had to watch two major shows this weekend. One which had JBL costing the hottest, most popular guy in TNA wrestling, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then I had to turn around on Sunday and watch a show that ended with Bubba Ray Dudley helping the NXT champion against two heels. He was the big babyface save at the end of the night. Power Driver Finisher says, main part of the show was Trick Williams wearing the Willy Wonka getup. Fair. We got I Make B says, I'm just a Roxanne mark. She's fucking great. Roxanne Perez is probably, I would say, if it wasn't for like Nathan Frazier, I would say Roxanne Perez is the best worker in the whole damn brand and the whole damn NXT. Like, she legitimately could go toe to toe, hold for hold, move for move with every single woman on the main roster today. And she's 22 years old. She's about to be 23 on November 5th. This woman is so talented. She cannot be denied. She's a superstar. She's a future WrestleMania main eventer, legitimately, in my eyes. We got Bell who says, got a good chuckle at Booker T asking Tatum Paxley what she was doing after scaring him like Tatum wanted to be in that box. He was kidnapped. I mean, why did they put the box as like assortments on the stage? That didn't make any sense. None of this made sense to me, but we'll get into that part. I don't even know if we'll get into that part, but hey. We got Call Me Mr. Bonda. He says, again, with the nostalgia crutch I was talking about last night. Yes. Literally, Shawn Michaels and Tommy Dreamer was like, hey, let's book 2024 like 2004. And Shawn was like, sounds good to me. We got Power Driver Finishers because it's goddamn SP3 is beside himself with the mention of Bully the Stink. He fucking sucks. Why is he still wrestling? I liked Bully Ray's work in TNA wrestling last year. I thought that he actually was a great heel in TNA wrestling. The program that he had with Josh Alexander was 1000% entertaining. The whole heel turn he had on Josh Alexander, and then his matchup with him at, I think it was Hard to Kill last year, Rebellion. I don't know, but god damn it, just go away. Go away. You did good last year in TNA wrestling. Why are you in a bigger company now? Why can't you just be a guest star? Why do you have to make the big babyface save at the end of the night? That makes no sense to me. Alex Powell says Bully Ray is versus Raj Desi. Billy Gunn. Oh, I forgot Billy Gunn versus Jay White. Yeah, that was awful. Rhea versus Liv at Bad Blood. That was really bad too. So was Nia versus Bayley at Bad Blood. Both of those matches are probably among the worst matches of the year too. Uso versus Uso and anything Triple A or the worst matches of the year. It's a good list. Good list of the worst. We might have to do a worst matches of the year list. Like literally, they were so limited on worst matches of the year in 2023 that we did not do that as a separate like standalone video. But this year there has been a lot of stuff. When you really think about it, and you just jot down, and I added some stuff to that list. So that's already almost a top 10 right there. I Make Beats says it's okay, SP. It will be all right. I have to do this. I have to review this show alone. That ended with Bully fucking Ray in the main event. I need a drink. I need a cigarette. Myron Kidd says it's going to be a long road for us to get to that Obafemi versus Trick match at Stand and Deliver. I have to sit through Bully Ray making Trick Williams Devon Dudley. That's what I have to deal with. Have to deal with that. Thank you, I make beats. I preach SB. We got Power Driver Finisher says Roxy is also a hometown hero for me. So I'm so proud to say Roxy is amazing. She's been amazing for quite some time, since she was like 19 years old in Ring of Honor, being the first Ring of Honor Women's World Champion after they brought back the belt. So yeah, more. Power Drive Finisher says, I love the nostalgia. I don't care if it's part of the show. We should simply acknowledge that it doesn't make for bad booking or story. It doesn't make up for bad booking or stories. 100%. This was bad booking. It was a bad story. I was not interested. All the teases that they did throughout the night. Ridge fucking Holland is the next contender for the NXT champion. That doesn't make me want to watch this fucking battle. Does not make me want to watch. I know I probably ruined any of the headphone listeners, but like Rich Holland was on this show 4 times. 4 fucking times. Why is Rich Holland? Why is Rich Holland getting a fucking NXT championship shot? Why is Rich Holland the big next challenger for Trick Williams? Oh my God, that shit! I don't know what I'm more upset about: Ridge Holland in the NXT Championship picture, or Bubba Ray Dudley making the big babyface save at the end of the night, like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Please, guys, I need super chat donations so I could buy a drink, so I could get a bottle of something to drown my sorrows that I had to sit through this show. Get the Bubba Ray Dudley and Rich Holland. Oh my God. So, my one word to describe NXT Halloween Havoc. By the end of the show, it was why. But I would say the best one is what y'all said in the chat. Lackluster. It was kind of lackluster. Not a bad show. It wasn't a bad show because there was some really good wrestling on this show, mainly in the first 2 matches, which we'll get into here. They kicked off the show with a cold open with Gigi Dolan narrating and highlighting some of the big matches on the event. And then we went into the tables, ladders, and scares matchup. Tony D'Angelo making his first defense of the NXT North American Championship against the former champion, Oba Femi. The action started off hot at ringside with the 2 men battering each other with different weapons. You get D'Angelo spearing Femi through the barricade. He even interrupted the intro to the matchup from Mike Rome, who was dressed as Beetlejuice. Oh, shit, he's coming. We get the big barricade spot, like I said. Then he starts pulling out ladders from under the ring. He sets a large ladder as a bridge between the apron and the announce table. Femi regained control, hitting him with a multiple of chairs. At one point, he just slugs him with the chair like it's a fucking sledgehammer. It was a really cool spot. Femi chokeslams D'Angelo on a chair in the ring for a 2 count. He then, the ladder set against the corner. He does like a chair assault on D'Angelo. He threw the champ through into the ladder, leaning against the corner before trapping D'Angelo in the corner with the ladder. At ringside, Femi maintained his ruthless attack on D'Angelo, then throwing him through a table in the ring with a big uppercut after leapfrogging and D'Angelo missing a spear on him. The athleticism and the versatility that Oba Femi is showing so early in his career. This is why so many people believe he's the next NXT champion. He's really good. The uppercut through the table only got him a 2 count, though. Oba took D'Angelo's tire iron and started smashing him with it in the back before locking in a hold using the weapon. Femi continued to work over the North American champion with the tire iron. D'Angelo powered out of a Femi powerbomb attempt to toss the challenger overhead. The crowd was going wild at this point. They were really into this. This was basically like a slugfest, like the Hoss fight that they had in St. Louis on NXT on the CW, but with tables, ladders, and chairs. So it was fun. You get Femi, who gets the zip ties that he used on Tony D'Angelo on NXT this week. He ties him up in the corner. The family attempts to run interference. You get Adriana Rizzo going into the ring and trying to untie D'Angelo from the corner, while Stacks and Luca just get the shit beat out of them by Obafemi. Femi then sees Rizzo trying to untie him, and he goes after Rizzo. Rizzo looks very intimidated, gets backed up onto the corner, but he still goes after her. She grabs a tire iron and is like, she wants the smoke. She wants the smoke. But Femi just snatches the tire iron from her. Tony D'Angelo, desperate to help Rizzo, he finally escapes. He muscles out of the zip tie, and then he spears Oba through the ladder bridge at ringside. The finish saw the family finally recover from all the big beatdown after Femi hits his big pop-up power bomb and only gets a 2 count. You get Rizzo coming into the ring. She hits Femi in the back with the tire iron. Then we get the other family members, Luca and Stacks. They hit a shatter machine using a steel chair. You get Tony D, who gets one of the steel chairs and smashes it over Oba's back, and then hits his big spine buster through a table in the corner for the 1-2-3. Tony D retains the NXT North American Championship. This was a fun opener to the night. I mean, it doesn't make Tony D the biggest babyface because he did get help from 3 other people to get the victory here, but a lot of fun here. This was a fun horse fight between these two who have developed really good chemistry with one another. So I gave this opener 3 3/4 stars, a good way to kick off the show. These two guys, like I said, very good chemistry with one another, and I enjoyed their work over their last 2 matches for sure. Much better than I think their matchup at No Mercy as well. We also got I Make Beats, who sends another super chat donation. Thank you so much, I Make Beats. He says, enabling your alcoholism. I don't have alcoholism. I'll be honest. I rarely drink. I only drink if I go out with like family or one of my friends. Maybe I'll have a drink on Friday. I'm supposed to meet up with some of my UK friends before I head back to the States, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I Make Beats. I'm gonna need a drink after talking about this show. He also says, I Make Beats says, I enjoyed this match. The Don is a madman. No way I would go anywhere near Obafemi wielding a fucking crowbar. He says, the European uppercut through the table, 100%. Yeah, that was a really good spot. Really good spot by Obafemi. I think Oba is so talented, and he should be the next NXT champion. We got Call Me Mr. Bonda, who says, I'd have Obafemi on SmackDown after Royal Rumble and take out LA Knight. Good shout there. Let's see. I'm going to tell Jimmy Macaram you said that, and let's see how he feels, because he loves Obafemi, but he loves LA Knight just a little bit more. Myron Kidd says, I seriously thought that Nikita Lyons was going to come out. I 100% did as well. When they had Oba staring down with Rizzo, I was like, okay, where's Nikita Lyons? Nikita Lyons going to come in and beat her up, drop that thing on her, and then Obafemi's going to win. But I was surprised that Tony D got the win here. Alex Powell says, fun match, good way to protect Oba. Yeah, it took 4 people to beat him. So if he was going to get beaten, I was questioning the pinfall stipulation to this matchup, because I always thought when they announced that this was going to be tables, ladders, and scares, that the whole reason you do this is because Oba doesn't need to take another pinfall loss. You just have Tony D climb the ladder, pull down the championships. But when they made it a pinfall matchup, it did add some doubt, and it did make me believe that maybe Oba was going to get a second run with the North American Championship, because they feel like they don't want to push the Oba and Trick matchup too soon, but they surprised me in a good way here. We got also a bunch of people showing love to Obafemi in the chat here. We got Bell, who says, I'm betting on Obafemi appearing in the Rumble. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. Yeah, we got Rumble with What a Day, Joe Lowry. Good to see you in the chat. Check out Joe's work over at Sportskeeda, Wrestle Binge, and Sportskeeda's Patreon page. He does great work hosting a bunch of shows over there. Oba, he says, Oba will be a main roster call-up. I see him in the Royal Rumble as well. Yeah, I think if they give Oba kind of that spotlight to come in, eliminate a bunch of guys, anywhere between like 4, 5, 6 guys, that's going to be a big kind of platform for him to kind of get the attention of the main roster fans that might not watch NXT. I think Obafemi has a great deal of potential. Me and Jimmy McIlroy always talk about it. He's the type of guy that you bring him on the main roster and you make him fucking Thanos. He takes out everybody and he becomes a champion almost immediately. Like, don't do the soul burn that you're doing with Braun Breaker and having him lose titles and lose title matches before you get him. No, Obafemi is the type of guy, he gets one shot at the Intercontinental title or US title and he wins that damn thing. And then he goes on an undefeated streak before you want him to move up to the main event scene. We got Chuck Berries with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, one of our big supporters in the chat. He says, I guess Bubba Ray was like, if Chris Jericho can get TV time, why can't I? Kind of glad I watched the Cowboys lose over Bubba Ray. That's Bubba Ray Dudley, SMH. I love the fact that us in the chat, me in the chat, are right here. We're right here. We're not with this nonsense. I know it got a lot of heat on social media, but my Lord, why did I have to sit through this show to get to Bubba Ray Dudley ending the show? And way to go, Busted Open Radio. You ain't gonna beat those allegations about being WWE shows. Like, and I love Busted Open Radio. Dave LaGreca has built a franchise of a podcast with them. But you know, I'm just saying, y'all ain't gonna beat those allegations after Halloween Havoc. I love y'all. I say that in the best way possible. Chuck Berries says, half as many shots as you please. Thank you. I will after this one. Oh, I made beats. Please. Oba Gunther. Oba Gunther face off. Give it to me. Give it to me, please. Thank you, Chuck Berries, for the super chat donation. Let's get into what happened after the tables, ladders, and scares matchup. They went backstage. They did a quick backstage segment with Sarah Schreiber after recapping Charlie Dempsey is going to defend the Heritage Cup Championship against Lexis King. Lexis King is still struggling to find anyone who wants to deal with him and be his corner man in that matchup. But now he has a hero, or so we think. Because Mr. Regal, William Regal, stepped up and said that he will be the corner man for Lexis King. He says that he knew his father very well, and sometimes you could be a chip off the old block or the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but he believes in Lexis King, and he wants to be his corner man when he faces Charlie Dempsey in the Heritage Cup Championship matchup coming up on Tuesday's NXT. One thing I will give credit to Halloween Havoc to, they built the shit out of this Tuesday's NXT. They were hyping it up throughout the night. I think this was the best use of a premium live event to promote the following TV show. I felt like the NXT Halloween Havoc did a better job of hyping this Tuesday's NXT than last Tuesday's NXT did at hyping Halloween Havoc. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but that's how I felt after watching the show, because I was like, y'all might have lost me by the end of the show, but y'all did a hell of a job hyping up this Tuesday show. But yes, it is official. It will be for the Heritage Cup. It will be Charlie Dempsey defending against Lexis King with William Regal in his corner. I want to ask you in the chat, you in the comment section, if you're watching us on demand, what do you think is the likelihood of William Regal betraying Lexis King and helping his son win the Heritage Cup? I think that we're at like a high 85%. 0 to 100, I'm going to put it at 85%. It's my bid that William Regal is going to screw over Lexis King. And that's good. At least we're going to try to get some sympathy for Lexis King if he's really going to try to be a babyface. We got I Make Beats who says, see, Steven Regal is the man. Yeah, it's always fun to see Regal back on television. We got Call Me Mr. Bonda says, why is William Regal not the booker of NXT? Because he's actually qualified for the job. Good point. Points were made. We got a good 90% from Belle, so she's going up for me at 85%. And we're going 100% from Mr. Bonda. Always can count on you guys to go above me on the bid. You probably won this one. It seems very likely. And here we go. Like I said, I thought it was a good opener to the show. Very good opener with the tables, ladders, and scares matchup. But the match I was looking forward to the most just comes in like the second match on the card. I was very much confused. I was like, this should have been probably your main event, because this was the match that got the most amount of hype that everybody was looking forward to when I talked to anybody about Halloween Havoc. And they just threw it on the second match. No hype package for it at all or anything. But next up, we had NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez teaming up with Cora Jade to verse Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia. Vaquer and Giulia coming out. You got Vaquer with the half face paint for the Day of the Dead in Mexico. You got Giulia with the new attire here. Great makeup for her. The reaction was really good for Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia. Cora Jade making her return to in-ring action on NXT. Well, Roxanne Perez, like we said before, one of the best women's wrestlers in the world today, going up against two of the best women's wrestlers in the world today. Vaquer and Perez started the matchup with the former showing off her strength early on. Vaquer countered a pin attempt from Perez and smashed her head repeatedly into the mat with the head scissors. I love that move, and I love the way that Stephanie Vaquer executes it, where she just grabs her by the head with her legs, smashes her head into the canvas a bunch of times, and just like flings her away with her legs. It just looks so cool. Giulia tags in, and we got the international stars actually showing off their teamwork with some good double team moves. Eventually, Perez and Cora Jade are able to get some offense of their own. They managed to maintain the advantage. They hit a pair of super kicks. Then we get a nice little tope suicida from Perez, and we get a coffin drop by Cora Jade. I was like, Cora Jade, you ain't gonna beat those Darby Allin allegations used to come out with a skateboard. Now you're doing the freaking coffin drop. Go ahead, girl. We get the double submissions by the baby faces. STF supplied. No tap outs as both heels get to the ropes. Giulia soars through the sky with a beautiful looking missile drop kick. At another point, we get the heels working over Giulia for a bit. Jade looked well in here. She kind of got it down to her type of pace, and she did not look out of place with three of the best women's wrestlers in all of WWE and in the world today. The action picks up after Giulia makes the hot tag to Vaquer. Vaquer comes in with a smooth looking springboard drop kick to Perez. Vaquer escaped Perez's crossface, but couldn't get out of an avalanche poison Rana that looked beautiful. Tag to Jade. She comes in. She gets a diving senton, but only gets a 2 count after Giulia breaks up the count. Things descend into complete chaos with all 4 women in here. Giulia tagged back in, but Jade and Perez attempt a double team move. Giulia's able to escape, and she tags Vaquer back in. In the melee, Giulia flattened Jade with a ridiculous looking knee that just got Jade right flush on the chin. Giulia suplex by Giulia. We get actually the Northern Life Bomb by Giulia on Perez. Vaquer then hits a freaking spinal tap. Phoenix Splash combination off the top rope onto Perez, and she gets the 1-2-3 to pin the NXT Women's Champion. On excellent tag team matchup here. This delivered big time. This kicked all types of ass. Giulia looked really good. Stephanie Vaquer looked exceptional in this matchup. Roxanne Perez is able to bump and make everyone she's in the ring with look better. And Cora Jade, like I said before, did not look out of place. I thought all 4 ladies exceeded my expectations of this matchup. Like I said, I gave the opener 3 3/4 stars, but this was a leg up from even that. I gave this 4 1/4 stars. A great match from all 4 women here. And then the post-match was really good to get you even more excited about the NXT Women's Division, which is shaping up to be the best women's division in North America today. After the matchup, the lights shut off, and then Zaria appears. The former Delta Brady appears in the press box, looking down at all the women at ringside and in the ring. You get Giulia with a great reaction, has her mouth drop, her jaw drops, and Stephanie Vaquer looking as intense as Zaria looks. She looks very intensely at all the women here. This was a knockdown, drag out banger from all four women, and I love the post match with Zaria, which would not be the last we saw Zaria on this show. Zaria made a damn good impression at Halloween Havoc, but this was far and away the best match on the show. Spoiler alert. I know I'm going to do match of the night, MVP, LVP, and everything, but it's not even close. It's not even close how great this match was in comparison to everything else on the show. This was the best match on the night and one of the best women's matches I've seen on an NXT Premium Live event. All four ladies delivered here. We got I Made Beats. He says, all these women understood the excitement. Indeed. We got Call Me Mr. Bonda saying Stephanie Vaquer with the beautiful spiral tap since AJ Styles at Bound for Glory 2023. Yes. Spinal tap, man, it's always a beautiful move. I know Robbie X currently does it. He calls it the XX Express. He's doing great work over in the Super Junior Tag League in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Stephanie Vaquer, man, she busted that out of nowhere. I've never seen her do that before. I've watched a lot of her work from CMLL, Stardom, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Never seen her bust out a fucking spinal tap, but that shit looked beautiful. We got Belle who says, props to Cora because she was the only one I was worried about in the match, having been out for so long, but she did well. I agreed as well. I May Be saying I popped for that coffin drop. Yeah, I was like, are you about to do a moonsault? And then she did the coffin drop. I was like, fair game. That was fun. Call Me Mr. Bonda says this was Josie Peruso. Yes, it was. Good sir. I May Be saying Perez versus Grace is still one of my matches of the year as well. Let's get it. Yeah. Perez and Grace was probably the best singles women's match that I've seen at an NXT Premium Live event this year, but this was right up there. I think I rated both of those matches 4.25 stars. I Make Beats with a super chat donation once again. Thank you so much, I Make Beats. Killing the game. You guys are awesome today. Appreciate y'all. He says, gotta go, but here's to the women showing us how it's done. The women outclass the men on the show. Just is what it is. It is what it is. Will Chisholm says, Giulia said, I'm rumored of people saying I'm not hitting hard enough. Watch this knee then. Yes. She basically said, hey, if y'all want to see the old school, hard-hitting, stiff Giulia that you loved in Stardom, here's a knee to you. Poor Cora had to be on the receiving end of that. Myron Kidd says Zaria and Jordan Grace potentially being on the NXT roster soon could be awkward because they both look similar. I would say no. I think like their build is similar, but Zaria has such a unique face paint, the unique hair, and her stature is a little bit different from Jordan Grace. They're both very muscular, built women, but I think that they have enough differences where you can see that. And check out Myron if you haven't already. They did a great match on the independent scene that you could see kind of the differences between the two of them. Terrence saying that tag match was chef's kiss. Indeed, it was. We got a Bell who says Giulia, Stephanie, and Zaria equals NXT Big Three. I agree there for sure. And Alex Powell says Vaquer should win the title right away. I think after this matchup, you definitely have to consider that an option because she probably should be the next NXT Women's Champion. I think that they can do it on NXT television or they can build it out and wait till deadline at the end of the year to really do that and get it done. We also got Vala B who says Josie Perro, but without the headbutts and head drops. Thankfully for them, yes, no headbutts, no head drops in this one, but it was a lot of fun. And we also got Balabi says, but where is the adversity? No, Giulia shouldn't have gone through the adversity, but no, Stephanie Vaquer should not. I think Stephanie Vaquer gets the more American WWE style a little bit more than Giulia. So if the reason why Giulia didn't win the championship is because Stephanie Vaquer is going to win the title, I can respect that. And in retrospect, maybe it's the best move. I Make B says, I don't understand the fans who don't watch women's wrestling. It's like, bro, you sleeping. 100%. 100% with you there for sure. But next up, we get footage from earlier this week with Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. They are backstage earlier in the week talking about the upcoming match between them and Fraxium for the NXT Tag Team titles. You get Javon Evans asking if he went too far, slapping Nathan Frazier in the face, and Cedric says, no, you didn't go far enough. Sometimes you have to go to those meetings to show that you're fired up and you're ready for a big matchup. And they decide that they're on the same page ahead of the NXT Tag Team Championship matchup. And that is the exact opposite of our champions, Fraxium, because once again, Fraxium is not on the same page. Earlier this week, they are training at the Performance Center ahead of their tag team title match. We then hear them arguing with one another as Axiom is a little frustrated with Nathan Frazier being a hothead and getting them into this mess of another tag team title matchup. He says that he needs to get his composure. He talks about Randy Orton telling him that sometimes you have to be a hothead, and Nathan Frazier loving that, getting that approval from a legend like Orton and taking it too far with Javon Evans this week. But this all leads to the big tag team title match, as it will be Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander challenging Fraxium for the NXT tag team titles this Tuesday on NXT. This should have been on the Premium Live event. Man, if that matchup was on this Premium Live event, you would not hear me complaining as much about Bubba Ray Dudley. If you had another banger matchup after that women's tag team matchup, I would not be complaining about Bubba Ray Dudley at the end of this show. I'll be honest with you. I can let some things go and be okay with things if you had another banger match outside of the women's tag match. But that's me. Ambulance match is next. You got Ridge Holland going one-on-one with Andre Chase. Andre Chase comes out wearing a Freddy Cougar inspired Chase U sweater, which this starts off hot between the two men, Chase and Holland, mixing it up, going at one another. You get Chase diving off of the apron with the cannonball to take down Holland. At ringside, Holland recovered and threw Chase over the barricade. Chase comes jumping off of the barricade after Holland. The action finds its way down the entranceway into the ambulance as Chase used a fire extinguisher on Holland as he was tried to put him in the ambulance, and he held it back with his feet and then pulled out a fire extinguisher. Holland responds by hitting a big belly-to-belly suplex. They make their way back to the ring where Chase struck Holland with a steel chair, but he gets slammed on the mat at ringside. Holland exposed the concrete, but got thrown onto it by Chase. The stretcher was used to good effect throughout this matchup. They took the stretcher, which had like an automatic legs that came out of it. That was interesting. And they started slamming each other on the stretcher. You get Chase avoided calamity by countering Holland on the table, so he couldn't hit the Redeemer DDT on the table like he did back at No Mercy. He hits a DDT of his own, and then he puts Holland on the stretcher, but Holland is able to escape. Holland regained the advantage by dropping Chase onto the stretcher and then pulling it next to the ambulance on the stage. Holland pummeled Chase, but was caught by surprise as Chase hit with a stretcher board strike. Chase flattened Holland with a pumpkin before he climbed the ambulance and leaped onto him. Chase threw Holland into the ambulance and thought he had it won. He was pushing with his back against the door until Holland reached out of the ambulance and raked his eyes. He then catapulted him head first into the door. Holland then basically hits the nice little slingshot into the door as well. He then hits the Redeemer DDT right onto the on the floor, on the concrete floor, and then he throws him in the back. He shuts the door to pick up the victory here. This This was kind of there for me. I mean, if you enjoyed it, you thought it was entertaining, more power to you. I just thought that this was kind of a chore. This is kind of a chore to watch. I thought that Andre Chase did his best with this matchup. You know, Andre Chase is always going to over exceed expectations, but this match went 14 and a half minutes, and I could have been done with it after 10. Could have been done with it after 10. But you had to know after Holland got this victory that he would probably be positioned for a championship matchup down the line. But I was just expecting like the North American title. I would have been fine with Ridge Holland versus Tony D'Angelo for the North American title. I do not need Ridge Holland in the NXT championship scene. I just don't. I don't know about y'all. Y'all let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the live chat. Do you want to see Ridge Holland in the NXT championship picture? I sure don't, but maybe I'm wrong. We got Myron Kidd who says Fraxium, Cedric, and Javon would have burned the house down at Halloween Havoc. Yeah, it would have made it even more obvious that this ambulance match probably shouldn't have been on this card at all. But, you know, there we go. Power Driver Finisher says, no, Fakita wasn't on the show. I still complain about Bully. So, it's fair. That is fair. Bell says, wasn't expecting much from this match. However, I don't know why, but I have a soft spot for Andre Chase. I have a soft spot for Andre Chase as well. He used to be known as Harlem Bravado. Me and my missus got to see him at an Evolve show back in 2019, and she eventually named our daughter Harlem because of Harlem Bravado, Andre Chase. So I have a soft spot for Andre Chase. I think he is a standout. He always over-delivers in these premium live events cases, but he is mostly over-delivered in tag team matches. He's a tag team specialist. He was a tag team specialist on the Indies with the Bravado brothers. He's a tag team specialist in NXT with Chase U, but in a singles matchup, it came off a little flat. Mr. Bonda says, as mediocre as it gets, felt like watching Ryback versus Ted DiBiase Jr. on Raw in 2011. Damn. I wasn't that harsh. God damn. That's a tad bit harsh. Myron Kid says, if Ridge going to face Trick for the NXT title, then we're going to need to do a prayer circle for Trick. Wolf. Please. Vala B says, no way. Harlem is named after Harlem Bravado and not Harlem Heat. Yes, this is a true story. A lot of people think that she named her Harlem because I grew up in Harlem. I was born in Harlem, grew up in Harlem. But no, that is not the reason. It's Harlem Bravado is the reason why Harlem is named Harlem. But yes. That was all from the JSU ambulance match. I said it on the preview. I'm hoping that now it's over, this whole Chase U Ridge Holland rivalry. But we're not done with Ridge Holland because Bully Ray, Bubba Ray Dudley, and Dave LaGreca were throughout this show. They were on the pre-show talking about the matchups. They were in between different matchups on the show. On the pre-show, Ridge Holland interrupted Dave LaGreca and Bubba Ray Dudley as they were trash-talking him and saying how much he is an evil bastard for what he did to Chase U. And then after his matchup, he basically got into their face once again. He once again confronted Bubba Ray Dudley and Dave LaGreca, and Bubba Ray says, all right, this is the second time you're getting in my face. The first time I was going to let it slide, but now you done pissed me off. He says, don't ever let it happen again. And Ridge Holland had a microphone in his hand and decided to not talk into the microphone. Yep. If that was all we got from Bubba Ray Dudley, I still would have had this reaction. But the fact that we had to do the main event post-match angle to continue this, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? Here we are. This is what we're doing on a premium live event in 2024. in 2024. Fucking Wallaby says Bully just stunk up the joint in MLP. Do we really need to need him to stink up NXT in 2024? Come on. Yeah, it was so lame. It's just you're right, Mr. You're right, Power Driver Finisher. It was just lame. It was just lame. I was fine with it. I was fine with it when it looked like we were gonna do Bubba Ray Dudley versus Ridge Holland. That's how Ridge Holland he gets a big legend spot at the ECW arena after he beat Chase U. He could beat Bubba Ray Dudley in a singles matchup, and then he could move on to the North American title scene. I would have been fine with this. Not in the main event angle. Just not me. I'm not the crowd for this. Then we got a gauntlet match for the Women's North American Championship. We had Kelani Jordan defending against Fatal Influence. She would have to defend her title against each and every member of Fatal Influence because the dealer's choice was a gauntlet match. They started off with Kelani versus Jasmine Nix. Jasmine Nix still a bit green, but I think you can see that she has a great deal of like raw talent. Very athletic, can do the kip ups, looks very smooth in the ring for a person who's barely been wrestling for a year. She does a fisherman suplex, but can't keep Kelani down. Kelani is able to hit a big move and then goes to the top rope and hits a beautiful looking 450 splash to pin Nix for our first fall. Out comes JC Jane was next up in the gauntlet, but Jordan seemed more ready for her than she was for Jasmine Nix. She immediately takes her down with a vaulting splash on the outside. Jane trapped Jordan in a tree of woe to hit a cannonball. Jane had the advantage and then hits a running knee to Jordan's head, but she can't keep her down for the 3 count. Jordan regained momentum. Jane rolled her up for a pin that couldn't get the job done, but Kelani was able to get the job done with the O'Connor roll for the 1-2-3, her second victory here. But after the matchup, Jane hits a cheap shot on Jordan, leading to Fallon Henley as our last participant from a Fatal Influence. Henley hit a suplex on Jordan and slammed her head into the canvas to gain the advantage and show her control. Jordan dropped a leg on Henley's head, but couldn't get the 3 count on that one. We get a double down from both women as they tried to get themselves back up. Henley and Jordan exchanged strikes in the ring as the action was fast and furious at this point. They had a lot more chemistry than Kelani had with Jasmine Nix or JC Jane in this third matchup. But Jasmine Nix and JC Jane got involved. They distract the referee. Kelani is able to take all of them off of the apron, but she's not able to hit the big 450 splash as Henley is able to move out the way and get her knees up on the 450 splash, actually. And then she finally hits our big Shining Wizard for the 1-2-3. Fallon Henley, your new NXT Women's North American Champion. Post-match, you get Fatal Influence. They try to cut a promo on getting the big win here, but then the lights cut off. We once again see the vignette for Zaria. They look at the entranceway and wait for Zaria to come out, but she pops out from the crowd behind them. She takes out each and every member of Fatal Influence, a nice looking spear. Then she hits a fucking F5. I was like, all right, Zaria, I see you showing off that power. Zaria looked very impressive, taking out all the members of Fatal Influence in short order. And I think it's just a matter of time before Zaria wins championship gold. I think a lot of us kind of predicted that Zaria would be in the Women's North American Championship scene. And I think that is what we're leading to. That is definitely what we're leading to. I think Fallon Henley will not have a long run with this Women's North American Championship. I think it's just a matter of time before Zaria picks up that title. But it then was announced later in the show that it will be Zaria's in-ring debut this Tuesday on NXT. Another hook for the NXT show coming up this Tuesday on the CW. So, Zaria, I want to see what's next for her. She's like a female Brock Lesnar without the controversy. Yeah. But yeah, the gauntlet matchup, it was fine. I give it 3 stars. It was fine. Solid work from Kelani Jordan working through it. It went just over 14 minutes. Like I said before, I thought it could have been a little bit shorter. I don't think she needed to spend that much time with Jasmine Nix. She should have pitted her away in short order, spend a little bit more time with JC Jane, and then finish it off with a good 6-7 minute matchup with Fallon Henley. I think that would have been the better use. If you're going to have a 14-minute match, you should have had more time between those two than the other two, but it was fine. It was fine. Backstage, Adriana Rizzo threw down the gauntlet. She says she knows who attacked her last Tuesday on NXT, and she's going after her this Tuesday. We had the Ridge Holland confronting Bubba Ray Dudley segment, and then we had Tatum Paxley spun up. She was in a box on the set as Booker T and Vic Joseph were going over where all the different places that the Devil's Playground matchup could possibly end. She pops out of a case on the set and scares Booker T. Ava comes out and tries to get her to medical, saying they haven't seen her since Wendy Chu attacked her and put her in a box on NXT last Tuesday. But she says she wants a match with Wendy Chu this Tuesday on NXT, and she wants to make it more interesting. So she spins the Halloween Havoc wheel, and it lands on a casket match. So it will be this Tuesday on NXT, Wendy Chu versus Tatum Paxley in a casket match. I remember I said that a lot of the build for this Tuesday's NXT made me want to watch it. This wasn't one of them. I like Tatum Paxley, but Wendy Chu in a casket match? I don't know. We'll see. Vala B says Zaria hits an FI in the opposite direction because she's from Australia and things spin the other way down there. Good shout. I didn't even notice. Good shout. Bell says Zaria taking that title soon already. Poor Fallon. Happy for her though. Yeah, she got her run. That's all. It was all about Fallon finally winning some championship gold. Sometimes you just have to win it. It doesn't really matter if you hold on to it very long. Will Chisholm says Zaria feels like WCW Sting 1997. All she needs is a crow sound in her song, and don't let her talk. Don't let her talk. Goddamn. I mean, yeah, she's an intimidating force. She doesn't need to talk. She's that good. Power Driver Finisher says Tatum character is why I don't watch NXT with as much interest. I mean, she plays with dolls. That's her gimmick. She plays with dolls. That's literally the gimmick. You got zombie napper Wendy True and Child's Play Tatum Paxley casket match. I'm good, fam. But finally at NXT Halloween Havoc, you had the Devil's Playground matchup. Trick Williams coming out as Willy Wonka, going up against All Ego Ethan Page for the NXT Championship. We get immediately both men start battering each other. Page attacks Williams during the ring introductions. He then brings in a chair into the proceedings. Williams had a chair of his own, so he hits it out of Page's hand. But Page eventually gets the advantage. He makes fun of Vic Joseph at ringside, saying that you look like a dumbass, and then grabs a pumpkin on the announce table and does the little ego smile thing. Eventually, the pumpkin gets hit out of his hand, and Trick puts it on his head. He hits his discus boot to the head and knocks the pumpkin off of Page's head, breaking it in half. The fight made its way through the crowd as Williams threw Page onto a garbage can, but only got a near fall. Champion and challenger walked in brawl back to the ringside area as Page avoided a chair shot and instead threw Trick into the ring post with a chair wrapped around his neck. We get Page continue the assault. He threw Williams into steel steps, which seemingly basically caused him to bleed from the mouth. So that was kind of the trigger for all ego to go to the extreme here, because this was the first time, like he said in his promo on Tuesday, that Trick had tasted his own blood. He hits a big Eagles edge through the announce table at ringside. You get doctors and the referees checking on Trick, trying to make sure that he's all right. Paige threw Williams from the top rope onto another steel chair for added pain, but was only able to get a 2. We get a trick shot attempt. It is dodged by Paige, and he goes for the Eagles edge, but Williams escapes. Trick finally does hit the trick shot, and it connects, but Paige kicks out at 2. Very surprising near fall there. Outside of the ring, you get Paige grabs a black bag that later has nuts and bolts in it that keep the ring together. Williams hits a neck breaker on Paige onto the nuts and bolts. Paige regains control and hits a tries to go for a super Eagles edge, but Trick is able to kick out. We get Paige gets him back into the ring, and we get Williams gets the advantage. He grabs the steel steps and attempts to use it, but Paige hits him with a low blow, and he tells him that he doesn't have the killer instinct, that he won't go to the lengths that he will. He grabs the steel steps and is about to smash Trick with the steel steps, but Trick hits him with a low blow instead. Both men selling the low blow. You get Williams with the steel steps, finally picks him up, smashes him across Ethan's face, and then he hits a second trick shot knee for the 1-2-3. Trick Williams wins the Devil's Playground and retains the NXT Championship. Trick is not able to celebrate his retention for very, very long as Ridge Holland comes out. Yes, Ridge Holland, for the fourth time on this show, comes out. He attacks Williams from behind. Paige confronts him and asks him, what the hell is he doing? He says, show me you got it. And he gives Trick to Ridge, who hits the Redeemer DDT. He then, Ridge picks up Trick, and Ethan Page is about to hit the Eagles edge when suddenly Bubba Ray Dudley comes in and makes the save. He comes in, he punches off all ego Ethan Page. He goes after Ridge Holland. He throws Holland out of the ring. He throws Page out of the ring. He then goes to help Trick to his feet. And Trick Williams and Bubba Ray Dudley stand tall to close the show. Fuck all of this. No, the match was entertaining. The match was a rock solid matchup. I gave it 3.5 stars. 3.5 stars. A good match. It was a good match. Used the stipulation very well. Like the bits with Trick selling the ribs with the getting busted open from the mouth, even though it's quite obvious it wasn't real blood, it was fake blood. He swallowed it because at the end he had a big dripping blood of saliva, but it looked like jelly. Did not look like real blood. So it was quite obvious that, but I like the story that they tried to tell with Trick needing to find his killer instinct to get the win over all ego Ethan Page. Ethan Page taking things to the extreme and willing to go to lengths that he didn't think that Trick would, but Trick eventually does, low blowing him, using the steel steps, and then finally getting the win. So I told a really good story. It was a good overall matchup. So that's why I give it 3.5 stars. But the post-match fucking sucks. Ridge Holland in the NXT Championship picture, I don't want it. I'm good. I don't want it. And then Bubba Ray Dudley making the big babyface save. He is the Stone Cold Steve Austin of fucking NXT. I am totally good with that. Leave it alone. Take it away from me. I don't want to eat this. I don't want this. No. Go ahead, Shawn. Go back to cooking. We always hear, oh, Shawn Michaels is always cooking. What the fuck what type of seasoning did he put on this shit? Really? We're closing a show in the year of our Lord, 2024, with Bubba Ray Dudley standing tall after one of the worst matches of the year against Raj Dessin at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. I like the Willy Wonka gear by Trick Williams. I will say that. Vala B says, I'm done with this feud. Yeah, I'm kind of done with the Trick and Ethan Page feud as well. But we got to get one more tag team match out of it, I guess. Bell says, I'll deal with the Bully Ray stuff only if we are officially moving on with Trick versus Ethan Page after. No, Bell. No. You're giving them a pass. You're giving them a pass. You can't give them a pass because we should be done with Trick and All Ego after this match. It's a Devil's Playground match. Trick has beat him one-on-one 3 fucking times. 3 fucking times. And what we're moving on from Trick and Ethan Page to is Trick and Ridge Holland. That's objectively worse. Objectively, at least Ethan Page is an entertaining character and on the mic. No, we cannot say I'll deal with. No, we're not dealing with Bully Ray to go to Trick versus Ridge Holland. But do you? I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do you? I'm not dealing with it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I might take Tuesday off, even though they did a great job of hyping Tuesday show, but I'm good. Power Driver Finisher says, NXT, you see, TNA taught us something after all. I was like, this NXT TNA relationship never made more sense. Never made more sense than seeing Bully Ray on NXT and JBL on TNA. Gotta love it. Myron Kidd says HBK been giving away his Booker of the Year award the past 2 months. Lazy and underwhelming as shit. The laughing face emoji. You said it. You took the words right out of my heart, right out of my mouth and heart. And yes, Wallaby, the NXT men's side is cooked. If this is what we're doing for your big ECW arena show, it's cooked. It's cooked. Throw it away. It's cooked. That's the only thing that's cooking. It's cooked. It's overdone. Oh, Mr. Bonda says, hey, Wesley, it would be cool if you took care of that Ridge problem like you did Trey Miguel at the parking lot. It's what's best for business. Please, dear Lord. Wallaby says if they strap up 12-minute God Oba, they'll have no one to challenge him since Tavion Heights and Josh Braze have disappeared since coming back from Japan. No, Tavion Heights has become a corner man for Charlie Dempsey, and Josh Briggs, yeah, he's disappeared. I don't know where he's at. He might still be in Japan. All I know. That's what it really feels like, Alex Bow. If we're going from Ethan Page to Ridge Holland, the only way to go is more down to Lexis King. Lexis King. He could be in the NXT championship scene at this rate. Thank you guys for joining me today because you helped me. You helped me rationalize how I was feeling after NXT Halloween Havoc. I appreciate y'all. But let me know in the comments. Final call for super chat donation. Appreciate all the super chats that we gotten so far. But let me know in the chat your match of the night, your MVP, your LVP. Out of 10, what did you give the show? Whether you gave the show a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. For me, I'll put my thumbs in the middle for NXT Halloween Havoc 2024 in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs in the middle for me. Thumbs in the middle. It was, like I said at the top of the show, it wasn't really a bad show. It was just very lackluster. And I'm going to give the show overall out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. Barely passing, right in the middle. It's right in the middle for me. I 6.5 out of 10. There was some good stuff on the show. The opener with Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo was good. The women's tag team matchup was excellent. Excellent. Go out of your way to watch that if you didn't watch the show. The gauntlet match, it was fine. It was fine. Maybe a little tad bit long or not really using the time efficiently, but it was good overall with Kelani Jordan's performance, fighting from underneath, and the main event was good. But like just overall ending the way they did with Bubba Ray Dudley, the ambulance match not being very entertaining to me. It was a show. It was a show. 6.5 out of 10 for me. Bell's giving it a 5 out of 10. Don't blame you, Bell. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, Bell. At all. At all. Call me Mr. Bonda says thumbs down. Don't blame you at all either. 6.5 out of 10 for Mr. Bonda. Thumbs in the middle for Power Driver Finisher. He gives it a 6 out of 10. Valabi says the first hour was great. The rest of it was whatever. And he says Hickenbottom shot his wad prematurely on this show. I was baffled at the women's tag team match being the fucking second match on this show. If the women's tag team match was in the middle of the show or the semi-main event, maybe we look at this show a little bit differently. But yes, very much was like everything good was in the first hour. And then he just was like, here's the rest of the show. Match of the night, obviously, Stephanie Vaquer and Giulia versus Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. This was far and away the best match on the show, but shout outs to Opa Femi and Tony D'Angelo, who had a very good opener. My MVP for the show, I am going to give it to the big three, like Bell said in the chat, the new NXT big three of Stephanie Vaquer, Giulia, and Zaria. Those three women made me very excited to watch the women's division in NXT because there's so much talent. Someone like a Kelani Jordan who hasn't figured out the character part and the mic stuff, but she's so damn good in the ring for someone who's just been wrestling for a year. They have so much talent. JC Jane could fit in on the main roster, and she's got that kind of personality to a 10. And Fallon Henley is so good in the ring and also has a good personality herself. So the women's division is on peak, but those three women in particular, Giulia, Stephanie Vaquer, and Zaria, make me very optimistic on what's going to happen in the future for them. LVP, I mean, I have a lot of choices here. I think we're going to go with LVPs as well. We're going to go with Ridge Holland, Bubba Ray Dudley, and Shawn Michaels because he gave us this shit. I think that's about right. That is all for me for the NXT Halloween Havoc 2024 review. We got Bell who says the tag team match of the night. We got Power Driver Finisher who says match of the night, women's tag. He says just because the women's match did deliver, Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo did well, and the main event was all right. Other than that, not having that tag match with Axiom and Frazier was a choice. Respect. He also says LVP, Bully, HBK, TNA. Why TNA catching a string? Bell says MVP. I'll give it to the NXT Women's Division. Good shout there. LVP, Alex Paul agreeing with me. Ridge Holland, Bully Ray, and HBK. Power Driver Finisher says TNA is sometimes responsible for the bully stuff. I mean, can't disagree. But Mr. Vonda says, match of the night, La Pera, Madness versus Roxanne and Jade, like that name. LVP, Ridge Holland and Andre Chase because he can't afford real wrestling gear and nostalgia crap. MVP, Steph and Giulia. Good shouts from all of you in the chat. Appreciate y'all for joining me live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your support. Hit the thumbs up, help the YouTube algorithms, and help other wrestling fans watch this video. So share it on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. I will be back live tomorrow, special time, 12:05 p.m. Eastern time. It will be myself and the good brother, the ace in the face of the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, Mr. Romeo Anthony Colon, reviewing tonight's Monday Night Raw. So join us live for Rated Raw review tomorrow, number 41 for us. So check that out tomorrow. I'll be back Wednesday for our WWE Crown Jewel preview. We'll have Maggie of Fightful Overbook rejoining us again. Always love talking about the raps with Maggie, so join us for that. Of course, you got Thursdays, 1:05 p.m. Eastern time with AE Ramble with me and Jimmy Macaram, the best AEW Dynamite review in the land. We'll have a NJPW Power Struggle preview this week, probably be dropping on Friday. Don't know if that one will be live because I am going to be busy on Friday. And then Saturday, we got a watch party for Crown Jewel and the review for Crown Jewel. And then Sunday, special day, we're probably going to do back-to-back Sunday editions of the True Hill Heat Flagship podcast over the next 2 weeks. So this Sunday will be our first one. Me, the True Jaw Josh, Miss Chrissy Love, talking about the week that was in pro wrestling. And once again, I'll probably be ranting about Bully fucking Ray closing a show in 2024. Why? Why, Sean? Why? Check out all the great content we got on the channel right now, like our TNA Bound for Glory 2024 review. Check out the Flagship Podcast Special Edition, number 300 of our Flagship Podcast. Thank you so much to everyone who's already watched or joined us live for that one. Shout out to Vala B. Check out the Flagship Podcast to see Vala B's beautiful morning hair as he showed us some love for episode 300, giving some of his great memories of the show, the Flagship that's been around for 7 years now. 300 episodes, 7 years. We appreciate all the support from all of you guys. Follow us on the Twitter machine and Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month, exclusive content, and the best way to support us when we are not live here. But until tomorrow, I will catch y'all on the flip side. This has been our NXT Halloween Havoc 2024 review. We are signing off until next time.